Melissa,
What?
let me out. I want to get up to that thing.
Go on then. Just close the door on your way out.
Alright, open the way.
Do picture from Rover out. So as you can see, the address is pretty large.
Adjusting position.
Good, but
So
not
it's
that
the
good.
first working capital ship that we've got in the game.
I'm disappointed. I hate sand.
Go with Glenn's view as well. Please, Glenn's view.
Alright. Never done this before. Let's see how it goes.
That's not going to be good.
Third time's the charm.
Alright, let me line this up again. Here we go. Almost. So much sand. Here we go. No.
Oh, but he's got one of them.
I forgot to ask, did you get something from Captain for his birthday? What's his birthday? It's next week. I was just gonna put my name on like a card and give me some vouchers or something.
Touch me like I'm an ordinary man. Have a look in my eyes. Underneath my skin there is a violence. It's got a gun in its hands, ready to make sense of anyone, anything, anyone, anything, anyone, anything, anyone, anything, anyone, anything, anyone, anything, anyone, anything. Responsibility.
With us in this demo, we have our loyal dog Boomer as your Fang for hire. For now, I just can't resist. The setup is too perfect. I'm going to use this tractor against the cult.
The cult is stealing supplies and kidnapping people, using them to prepare for a doomsday that's really just around the corner. We're going to put you in the shoes of a rookie deputy and drop you into the heat of the conflict.
In Far Cry 5, we want to give you tools that feel like they belong in Montana in your fight against the doomsday cult. And now we're going to make a quick getaway in case reinforcements arrive.
Christ, help me.
Boomer is just one of the many allies you can recruit using our for-hire system. Each of them has special abilities, and it's up to you to select which companion to bring along for the ride, whether you're just exploring the open world or fighting cultists head-on in a specific location. Cute dog. My dad would love to know, what type of breed is Boomer? No, seriously.
His breed is mutt, but he is mostly blue heeler by the looks of him.
Montana is a great place to fish, and it was important for us to create a system where we allowed players to live that experience. In the rivers and lakes of Hope County, you will find many different types of fish. It's a really good way for players to gain experience and also just get away from the conflict. And here we see the player needs to fight a little bit to get the fish. Nice, catch of the day on the menu.
So it's nice to unwind with some fishing every now and then, but we know the cult isn't taking any breaks because they have an apocalypse to prepare for. As you explore the county, you'll come across cultists working hard to serve Joseph, the father of their cult. They're taking food and supplies for their bunkers, they're blocking the roads so no one can escape, and they're destroying resources so the resistance can't use them. And it looks like we spotted something up ahead. Yeah, let's take out our binoculars.
It seems like there's a small group of cultists there, Mari.
All right, so this looks like a forced baptism. What do you say we get in there, Phil?
Yeah, let's do it. I think the best approach would be to go in stealthily through the river with Boomer by our side. I think we're well equipped to get rid of those two guys. Here we're using one of the iconic weapons featured in Far Cry 5, the revolver. And you'll be able to customize those weapons by adding attachments or changing the color scheme and hunt the cult in style.
Go Boomer!
Alright, Boomer showing off one of his skills. This can really be a game changer in a fight where you're a bit low of ammo or you don't have the right weapon for the situation.
He's a good dog. You know, Boomer's a great all-rounder who can support any playstyle. Even without your commands, he'll fetch guns for you, take down cultists in a fight, and he'll tag enemies and animals from far away with his keen sense of smell.
The game being set in America, it was important for us to bring a wide variety of vehicles from pickups to tractors to big rigs like this one. This one is specifically called the Widowmaker. It's like a battering ram on wheels, and is a great tool to create chaos and take down enemy vehicles or roadblocks.
And it looks like we got one here.
Let's do it.
Pedal to the metal.
That Voss bobblehead didn't even move. We're so good.
We got him glued onto the dash.
That's it. Boom.
So it sounds like we're listening to the cult radio station. I gotta say, some of their hymns are pretty catchy, Phil. Now we're pulling up to Ryan Sons Aviation. This is the home of Nick Rye. He's a crop duster and a family man. He's doing what he can to keep his family safe and keep the cult from getting his plane, but it looks like they've beaten us here, so let's jump right in. There's no time to waste.
And let Boomer kind of create distractions for us to get behind cover and help Nick fight the cultists. In Far Cry 5, you'll need to improvise and choose from a vast arsenal of weapons and find elements in the environment to take down the enemy. There we go. so we just took down the last cultist at Nick Rise using my favorite stealth weapon, a baseball bat. Sometimes you can hear Boomer growling when he feels a threat nearby. And Boomer is just part of Far Cry 5's living world we've built, where there's always something, or someone, around you whether you notice it or not. This means you'll always need to be prepared.
Last truck, get in.
Want some of this? How about you?
How will you decide who belongs?
Thanks. I owe you.
How will you choose a place to call home? How will you build it? Work together to defend it. From the terror just outside the walls. When you get hungry, cold, what risks will you take? What mistakes will you make? When the only family you've got is about to tear itself apart, will you end a life?
Wait.
Or save it?
Please.
This is our only one, but we need everybody we've got.
Saving bad guys from other bad guys. Not how I thought today would go. Hey, big guy. Is that a Higgs field? That's actually really cool. Fisk, your men are safe. Your turn. Who runs the demons?
You're about to find out. Check the roof.
He's here? Martin Lee. Come on. No, 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 no! Let's go, let's go! happen? Yeah.
I'm getting reports of a helicopter with a wrecking ball.
It's complicated. Turns out Martin Lee is running the demons.
The guy who runs the homeless shelter?
Like I said, complicated. Sit tight, Yuri. I got this. Please, let me got this.
That helicopter is destroying the city.
I know.
You need to bring it down.
I know.
Maybe you could superhero a little faster?
Working on it, Yuri. Too close. Okay, Lee, here I come! Hi, is this the flight to Newark? Why are you doing this?
Because no one else will! Ah!
Lee, this is crazy! This isn't you!
You don't know me!
Need a plan. Need a plan real fast. I guess this is the plan! Come on, Pete, you got this! You got this, you got this, you got this! Please don't screw this up! Mr. Lee?
Spaceship, you can keep the smaller one into the big mothership. That's the same thing for the crew. If you start with 1 or 2 members in your crew, then you can have them in your big mothership later. That gameplay mechanic of what we call the Russian dolls, so bigger, smaller into the bigger, and then your characters, is very close to what we had in fact in Beyond Good and Evil 1, when the characters were getting out of the hovercraft. So here we have that monkey, which is my playable main character here, but of course in that game, you can select your character and create your own character. Just to give you a feeling of scale, that ship is about 20 meters long, and the other one, the mothership, is about 400 meters long. I'm going to go close to it so that you can see the size. So when we have large spaceships like that, the good thing, the interesting thing is that they are a real level of gameplay. You can go inside. We have interiors for those big ingredients. So imagine I'm at the beginning of the game. I'm starting the game. I have nothing, but I am like like in Beyond Good and Evil 1, you start without anything, and you have to get some money to like level up and get your first vehicles. So imagine I'm just delivering pizzas here. It's like a side quest or just a way among many to get some money. I'm delivering pizzas to those guys. So imagine it's not my spaceship. That's the beginning of the game, and this could be an interesting way to trigger the first ingredients of the adventure, because the spaceship is a playable interior. You can get inside, you can sell your pizza, and then instead of getting out of the ship, you could decide to explore the ship. And why not discover that there is some slavery, some human trafficking and things like that. The good thing is that in Beyond Good and Evil 2, like in the first episode, you can take pictures. So if I'm taking a picture of evidence of the things I'm seeing in the game, then I can share those pictures with the guys in the city, for example, and then I can trigger discussions with those guys based on the picture I took. So that's a very interesting mechanic that can create that feeling that you can explore everything and you can gather informations and share those informations with NPCs, but also between players. Another very interesting thing here is the feeling of scale. Here we know that the players, they will explore everything. They will want to go everywhere. So we need to handle large-scale ingredients, like that huge statue, where you can go very close to it and you can look at all the details on the statues. And of course, you can go inside of this kind of statue, and you can also get on top of it. I just want to show you something interesting about the scale and the feeling of scale. So I'm going to land on the top of the statue and you will realize how big it is. So here we have a wonderful vista. And I want to show you, so I'm going to go more in the developer edition mode, where I can move the camera very easily, and you can really notice and understand the feeling of scale when you look at that little monkey on top of the big statue. This is just a part of the head of the statue, and you're already very small. And it's very interesting to understand the scale of things. Here you see that the statue is really, really big. The statue is about 700 meters high. And the very interesting thing, again, is that in fact, that statue, which is big, is just into a big city that is very small, in fact, compared to the continent here, the size of that big island, and which is a small part of a big planet. So you realize that you are just a little dot on that big planet, which is, in fact, just a small planet around a bigger one, which is a small dot in the big universe.
Give players superhuman capabilities and are heavily customizable so they look and play how you want.
Bam! Looking good. Nice, you've got a mortar equipped.
Yeah, I got it on the weekend. You lead the way, I'll follow.
This is a vast open world you explore with your friends. Each Javelin exosuit has its own unique playstyle. The Ranger is balanced and all-purpose, while the Colossus is a tanking powerhouse.
Alright, let's see what's up here.
The world of Anthem is hostile, and threats can come from any direction. It's a dynamic world where the unexpected is around every corner.
I'm not sure we want to use all our supplies on this guy.
Yeah, he seems like a problem for another day.
We're getting some fire from up ahead.
I'll go low. You flank.
Hang in there. Almost there. Have you been in there yet?
I haven't. We should do that later with Kim.
Yeah, you could use the XP. Hello, treasure. I think we got some action up ahead.
Anyone, we're under attack. Anyone in the area, we're under attack.
I think that's part of Praxley's mission.
You can equip your Javelin exosuit with gear that brings devastating power to combat.
Out of the way! Oh! Hey, man!
No, that ain't him. Oh, come on. Oh, crap. Come on, come on! Son of a bitch.
Let's do this. Yeah? You want some of this? Yeah! Yeah!
That's Manny's bike. Yeah, this way. Ugh.
Feed from the healthy, not to fight those risking the flu and pollution in the streets to hunt vampires and skulls. If we were unable to beat this mini-boss, we would be tempted to return to the bar, and perhaps feed from Tom for a greater experience boost, returning stronger, but with London thinning in numbers. Vampire's combat system uses a mix of melee and ranged weapons supported by vampire abilities that allow you to be the vampire you want to be. The gameplay is based on timing, positioning, and management of different resources. The stamina bar regulates your melee moves and dodges, the blood bar controls the use of your supernatural abilities, and the health bar represents your health. There are many areas to explore, loot, and pick up information to learn about the world, its lore, and what happened to London since disease spread. At the beach, we're fighting people operating under the head of the vampire hunter's orders. The Pruin guards are investigating this beach, searching for skulls.
Stay close, keep an eye on each other.
Skulls are a lesser species of vampires lurking in quarantine areas, underground or in dark corners. Due to the Spanish flu epidemic, they have suffered heavy mutations and have recently become very aggressive. It's part of your quest to understand how they became such creatures and ultimately find a cure to save them. In this world, the human vampire hunters and skulls are having their own fight. As long as we don't get too close, we can just move on. Sean is a saint who manages a night asylum to provide food and rest to the poorest. Unfortunately, he has recently turned into a skull. You believe that, incapable of dealing with his new condition, he has fled from the hospital, a sacred ground, and murdered Harriet Jones, an old woman who certainly didn't deserve it. Most importantly, he is the pillar of the dock community, which means he's a very important character whose fate will deeply impact the district and everyone who lives within it.
Are you certain you're not lost, sir? You seem quite a stranger to these parts.
Our exploration, social manipulation, and skills in combat have led us to where Sean has been hiding. We must find out the truth about the hospital's murders, and ultimately...